So what's wrong with boundaries?
I mean, what do you mean by boundaries?
I'm uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable. It's really making me uncomfortable. But she doesn't know boundaries. Tyler, what don't you understand? I don't want to hear no example. What about how I feel?
Who is gonna let a child disrespect them, so to speak? Because in her mind, that's still a child. Yeah, she's an adult, but you're dating my son. That's my child. And I understand people say, well, you know, when you grow up and you have your own family matters and usurp everything. But at the same time, I know to have respect for my significant other's parents. And if I don't have an agreement, that's something that I take up with my significant other and not in the presence of my significant other's parent. Because a lot of people are taking advice from people who aren't married, never been married, or divorced, which means that they don't know how to hold a relationship or a marriage or a partnership together.
It's a matter of opinion. If I'm right, but I'm leaving no for now to go outside, putting chores and obligations on our part.
Welcome to another episode of Matter of Opinion. I'm your boy Walls P. And if it's your first time here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, click that notification bell, and share it amongst your friends. And don't forget to click that like button. Let's get into this one, ladies and gentlemen. So, going on social media today, I open up Instagram and right there I see a feed that says when your boyfriend's mom disrespect you. And I'm looking like, okay, what's this about? So I go into that video, ladies and gentlemen, and this is what I see.
Relationship with mine? I'm confused. Like,
So what's wrong with boundaries?
I mean, what do you mean by boundaries?
I'm
confused. Can you make it make
uncomfortable.
sense?
I'm uncomfortable. It's really
How?
making me
This is my
uncomfortable.
mom.
It is your mom. But she doesn't know boundaries. Tyler, what don't you understand?
Okay, so can you? All right, so I'm gonna give you an example. So if we was to go on vacation, or
I don't want to hear no example. What
I'm
about
just
how I
saying.
feel? So it's your mom over me. You don't care about how I feel?
it's a great balance between the both. But it's always you. But it's gonna be my mom too.
Miss
My mom.
Audrey, ma'am.
My mom.
Excuse
Mom,
me.
shit, don't go, please.
Audrey,
Please.
Tyler,
Alright.
shut up. Audrey, let me get you straight. That's my son. I don't know how you grew up or whoever raised you, but that's mine, okay? And that's what I need you to understand. It has nothing to do with you. My boundaries, you saying that I go in your stuff, no, I'm cleaning it because you're nasty. Tyler, I told you could have did better a long time ago.
I love her. Though,
No, you
Mom.
don't. You
I
don't
do,
know
I
what
really- I do
you
love her.
couldn't possibly know what love is, Tyler. She's only with you for your money.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Mom,
What do you
chill,
do?
Mom.
What do you do for a living? You do
I
nothing.
have an online
you just want to
business.
sit here and be
I have an
cute.
online business.
But what money does it make?
It
It's
makes
Tyler's
me-
money.
it makes money.
No,
It
it's
makes-
Tyler's money. It's
We
not
weren't-
your money.
who asked you to
It's
come in
not your-
here?
No one asked me. My son pays bills here. You don't pay bills, sweetie.
Mom,
Okay.
You don't pay bills. You pay no bills here.
So are you gonna let her talk
I
to
can
me like
talk to
that?
her anyway. Please, because guess what? You came from me, Tyler.
No, I'm
This
saying
is-
though, come on, you can't be disrespectful.
This is way too uncomfortable.
You can't be disrespectful.
You know what, Tyler?
This is my lady. You
uncomfortable.
can't be doing
It's
this too much.
Audrey.
Now, there's a lot to unpack in this video. Number one, this is why it is important for children to have that connection with their parents. And I'm not just talking about their mother, I'm talking about both parents. Because I'm pretty sure if the dad was in this situation, it would have been a different discussion. But the one thing that I want to point out is that why would this woman elect to have this conversation with this gentleman's mother present? That in itself is disrespectful, because those are conversations that you should have behind closed doors with your spouse if you feel some type of way about the situation. So I get it. You may feel like, hey, you know, you're undermining me or you're letting your mother or whatever take precedence of this conversation, but that's a conversation you have in private. You don't have this conversation while the individual's mother is there. Number two, when he went to explain to her the situation, he said, let me give you an example. And she said, I don't want to hear an example. That right there should tell you all you need to know. She's only thinking about herself. It's all about her. Everything revolves around her world. And realistically, it doesn't operate that way. It takes two to tangle. And I hear a lot of people say, oh, you know, well, a man needs a wife, not a partner. and all of this stuff. And this is why I say, like, the red pill, blue pill, all of that is hogwash, because a lot of people are taking advice from people who aren't married, never been married, or divorced, which means that they don't know how to hold a relationship or a marriage or a partnership together. And by no means is this meant to disrespect those that went through a divorce for whatever reason, whether it was domestic violence, whatever reason. This is not to undermine those that actually went through a divorce. But for these people who've never been in this situation to say, oh, I don't need a partner, I need a wife, you don't even really understand what that means, because realistically, it is a partnership. Where the hierarchy comes into place is if there are critical decisions that need to be made, that's where the man take charge. But throughout the whole situation, it's a partnership where both give intel on certain situations so that they can come to an understanding and agreement on how to progress forward. But when it comes to something that is very serious, like life or death or whatever the case may be, then men understand feelings cannot be the only decision maker. You need facts, you need the data, you need all these things to go into play. And yes, feelings does come into the equation, which makes you come down to a reasonable decision on these things. So that in itself, I don't understand why people take advice from the red pill, blue pill community and all of this other crap when the people who are giving this advice aren't even married, don't have longevity in certain situations. So with that being said, that mother, yes, she was out of pocket with her tone and the way she was speaking to, this gentleman's girlfriend or wife or whatever the case may be that this individual was to that person. But I say this to say this: if that gentleman would have actually listened to his parents' teaching, so to speak, then I don't believe that they would be having this conversation, or things would have got to this point where she felt like the mother was being disrespectful to her or whatever the case may be. The reason why I say this is because you have a lot of kids raising kids, so to speak, or you have kids that think they know better and they don't ingratiate whoever it is that they're seeing with their parents. Because let's face it, we look at all the craziness that is going on in the world where couples aren't sticking together, they're breaking up, all of these things, they're having these astronomical requirements. And what they saw in their household of two parents that actually love each other and grow and actually raise this person to become an adult, all of a sudden, like everything they're doing to meet those certain standards, they're letting it be altered by outside influences instead of the people that you should be looking to either resemble or to follow suit from, the role models that you should actually have, which is your parents. Most people aren't bringing whoever they're dating home to be vetted by their parents, because let's face it, if people brought home the people they were dating to be vetted by their parents, they would avoid a lot of the crazy situations that are going on now when it comes to relationships. Because I'm not even gonna front, I was guilty of it. Whoever I was dating, I didn't bring home to my parents, but guess what? If I did, I would have got rid of a lot of shenanigans and all this other stuff that I've wasted my time with. And I also can speak from the opposite side of the spectrum. I felt like I was being disrespected as far as, my trade of thoughts being undermined by the person's parents, this, that, and the third. I understand all that. But guess what? Going through that process made a lot of growth and growing to help me become the man that I am now, because those things, those judging and those giving me basically the blueprint of how to be a better version of myself or be a better man, so to speak, actually played a significant role by the time, my kids came into the picture. So these are things that a lot of people are escaping because a lot of these kids think they know better. In actuality, no, because your parents went through the hardships, they went through the trenches, and they want their kids to not go through the same mistakes that they did. But we're so engulfed in, well, there's the person I'm dating, this, that, and the third. Get all these other advice and influences from people outside of the world that we live in, those that are closest to us, looking at social media, all these other crazy things, and trying to make it a realistic picture of how their life should be. And that's just unrealistic.
People keep forgetting this is the land of make-believe. What you're seeing is not real. It is being designed for you.
So pretty much what I see from this video is this individual, number one, I don't see the dad in the picture. So that tells me that most likely he grew up in a single parent home. And a lot of people are going to say, well, that's the dad's fault, that's the mom, whoever the case may be. The bottom line is those responsibilities should be handled accordingly by those people that decided to bring this boy or this man, you know, to life, so to speak, to where he's at now. So that's a whole discussion, another argument in itself. But at the end of the day, this guy should have had this woman vetted by his mother. And if the mother didn't agree or they can't come eye to eye with this person that he's dating, then you should leave that situation alone. Because I promise you, no mom, no dad wants to put their child in a situation where they feel like it's going to be issues after they vet the person. They just want to help that child make the right decision. And it seemed like this individual didn't take to her advice. And it clearly shows because this woman is literally being disrespectful of bringing up a family matter in the presence of his mother, and at the same time recording the conversation and posting it like she's the victim. To me, that makes absolutely no sense. So if you ask me, I believe she's in the wrong. Who is gonna let a child disrespect them, so to speak? Because in her mind, that's still a child. Yeah, she's an adult, but you're dating my son. That's my child. And I understand people say, well, you know, when you grow up and you have your own family, your own family matters and usurp everything. But at the same time, I know to have respect for my significant other's parents. And if I don't have an agreement, that's something that I take up with my significant other and not in the presence of my significant other's parent. Now, after me and my significant other may have that discussion on what direction to go, now we may take that discussion to the parent and have an adult conversation. So the way she handled it, in my opinion, was poorly. But that's my opinion and my thoughts on the situation. What is your thoughts on how she handled it? And who do you think was in the wrong? I would love to hear your perspective on this one, because I tell you, man, the way that it's going, with the whole parenting and single parent homes, this, that, and the third, and people dating people and not even letting them go through the vetting process with their parents and all that. You have two people who are getting together and having kids and shouldn't have kids to begin with, have a toxic situation for these kids, and now it's growing up toxic kids. So that's my thoughts on it. Let me know what your thoughts is. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section. If it's your first time here, consider hitting that subscribe button and clicking that notification bell so that you could be notified on more content like this. Like this video, share this video, and if you want to follow us on our other social media platforms, the links are in the description. I'm your boy Walls P. This is Matter of Opinion, and I will catch you, ladies and gentlemen, on the next one. Peace.
It's a matter of opinion.